Hey guys, in today's video, since I spent all day at an open house, which made me wake up early, causing me to delay when I actually record my video, looking back on my experience helping out at the open house, I decided it'd be a good time to talk about helping at the open house. Overall, just give a little background. I assume everyone knows what an open house is. In terms of college, it's all the high school and stuff coming to the school to look at the college, look at the majors, all that kind of stuff. I personally help out my civil engineering department specifically with tabling at the open house so that students can come and talk to the civil engineering department about like what is civil engineering and what are the benefits of it compared to other schools and other majors, things like that. And then I also am part of the tours at the civil engineering department where students, after getting a chance to kind of look around campus, go on campus tours, things like that, they come specifically to the civil engineering department as a big group and learn in even more detail what is civil engineering, what it's like to be a civil engineering student, what it's like to be a student at NJIT in general. So pretty much in that sense, it's a very, very big event. Every time it happens, we have 4 open houses each year, 2 in the fall semester, 2 in the spring semester. And each open house brings in anywhere between 40 to 60 kids, which when you add parents onto that, we usually use a 1.5 multiplier for that. So, or I guess technically a 2.5 multiplier if you're getting picky with it. We assume that, no, I'm sorry, 1.5. I'm struggling here with numbers. It's fine, 2.5. So if there's 40 kids that show up, we expect that every kid's bringing a parent and a half, basically. Just because some kids bring 2 parents, some kids bring 0 parents, some kids bring 1 parent, or they bring siblings, things like that. So the point I'm trying to make is the total volume of people we get is usually anywhere between like 100 to 180 people that show up to the civil engineering department kind of all at once. And my role for the past 10 open houses or so has been, I've been the primary person organizing and hosting and scheduling all those open houses. I've been involved in like volunteering at the open house for the past 15 open houses, pretty much all 4 years since I've been in school. But for the past 10 or so is when I really took on the role of being the primary organizer of open houses for my department. That happened after we had an administrative person in our office that left our department to go to another major and help them out. I could talk about that more detail later on because it's part of my whole, the gripes of what I believe about my department, but that's not really the time for this video. I'll bring it up a little bit later on. But overall, having the role of being the person that organizes the open houses was real bittersweet, and leaving that role was real bittersweet for me also. In general, I really do enjoy being part of it. I like helping the students or helping the prospective students come and learn about the school and all of that, giving them insight on not only, helping them figure out what major they're trying to do, because a lot of them show up and they say, yeah, I know I'm interested in engineering, but I don't know what kind of engineering. And I primarily, speak for civil engineering, but I also give them insight like, look, the best thing I would do if I was in your shoes is talk to all the, students from the different majors that are representing their departments at this open house. It's the best time to get an idea of what these majors are all about. I also really like helping out my peers, as in the other volunteers that come to this open house, and also the department as a whole. In general, the department does appreciate my involvement, and I recognize that. They have shown that time and time again that they appreciate how much I help them, and that's great. But I do also recognize that for a majority of the time I've been a student, the department has taken advantage of the fact that I'm willing to help out and has failed to really prepare the future of the department to replace me once I graduate as far as this open houses come. We technically have someone that's in charge running the open houses, and today was the first time he showed up for an open house in probably the past, I would say at least 8 open houses, 2 years I think it's been since he showed up at an open house. He just isn't very good at the whole process of it. He's my advisor. I'll talk about him more in the future because I have my gripes with him. Nice guy, but just not good at his job, basically. And I even talked to the chair of my department about how he's not an adequate fill-in for me in the future kind of thing. Like, they needed to find someone else because he's not capable of taking on the role, and he doesn't really want to take on the role, and that shows when he's presenting at these open houses that he doesn't want to be here doing open houses. He doesn't have any passion for it, and that not only hurts, you know, the department and makes them not look as good, it also hurts these students that come from high school to look at our school. Because even if civil engineering might be perfect for them, even if this school might be perfect for them, if they're listening to a very poorly done open house presentation, it could completely change their opinion on whether they want to come here or not. Overall, just to kind of clarify some things, my role as an organizer, when I keep saying, oh, I organize the open house, basically I was responsible for gathering all the volunteers as student volunteers and making sure everyone would show up at what times, preparing a schedule that when they would show up, what groups they would be broken up into, who would be in what locations, because we host at multiple locations since our 200 people can't fit in my civil engineering building. We host in multiple locations. There's multiple people moving around, a whole rotation schedule of what groups are in what rooms within my civil engineering building so that no rooms are over the capacity that they could hold. I also have taken on a role of updating all the information for these open houses. So when I first took over, there was a very poorly done slideshow created by my advisor that I was given. And I basically threw that out and restarted the slideshow from scratch, including updated information, relevant information, and then along with that PowerPoint presentation that I expanded on greatly and made much, much more conducive and informative. I even wrote out a script that goes along with that PowerPoint. So that PowerPoint is, I believe, 25 slides or so, which I added to that I believe it's an 8-page script of like words. Like if you literally read off the piece of paper, you'd be good to go. Obviously, I wouldn't expect anyone to do that. My purpose was just that when someone eventually takes over for me, I was hoping they would be able to kind of read through that script and get an idea of, oh, these are the main points I should hit on. This is the general flow of what should go with this slide and that slide, all that. I also have been responsible for kind of preparing the volunteers themselves, the student volunteers, because there's no advisor that's preparing them. I created a guide for all those students, a 4-page guide that kind of gives them tips on, even if they're not familiar with the presentation, because during the student session, we don't do a formal PowerPoint presentation, but during the parent session, we do. So for those students that don't have a PowerPoint to rely on, I gave them that 4-page guide where it's like, look, here's how the general day goes, and here's the different topics you could hit on. And if you don't have to hit on all these, and you can hit on way more than these, but if you hit on these topics, you'll be good enough for the day. So yeah, my role as an organizer has been pretty much doing all that for free up until last semester. The department was kind enough to give me a little bit of a paid position helping them out with that, and then they took that away from me this semester. So I'm starting to step back from my role. My goal was to stick around for both open houses this final semester and help them organize the last two and hopefully train whoever they wanted to replace me with. But since they decided they don't want to pay me and I have no responsibility or mandatory duty to them to help them with that, I've decided to start pulling back. Overall, I have had a lot of benefit from being an organizer of the open house. It's been great having the appreciation of the department, and they've shown that to me in many ways with supporting me with scholarships and just recognizing me in general. And then, like I said, when I was paid a little bit, just small wage just to kind of help out a couple hours kind of thing, it was really helpful. And also out of the open house, I was getting a lot of good management experience, like organizing all those schedules and groups and coordinating with emails that involved 15-plus people and making sure everyone came on time and was in the right place. All that was a great experience for me. And ultimately, my biggest benefit was that ensuring that everyone that came to the open house and everyone that volunteered at the open house was getting the best experience they could out of it, making sure that no one was ever miserable or bored or disappointed with their experience on either the volunteer side or the high school student side. Some other things I'll try and throw in is that in my role as a volunteer at the open house, because not only am I organizing the whole thing in the week or two leading up to the event, but also the day of the event, I'm the one that's giving the presentations, talking about my experiences, trying to talk in as like a representative of the civil engineering department about what our department's like, what the benefits of our department are, what the benefits of our school are as a whole, because no one ever hits on that unless I talk about it. I collect all the stats on the school and present all those stats, the, SAT numbers and room and board, tuition type stuff. All those different numbers and figures are numbers I had to find by myself by scrolling through the NJIT website and putting together that clean PowerPoint I made to present to parents and all that. And then in general, just knowing about the major and the school in a lot of detail so that I can answer whatever questions come at me at these open houses is a task in of itself. And these tasks I just mentioned are pretty much the tasks of what I've given to every volunteer that has signed up to help me out. Not to the extent necessarily that I do it. I feel I spend too much time on it, definitely more time than I should be spending on it. Realistically, just having the volunteers come to talk about their experiences is more than enough, but I try and go a little bit above and beyond that. And it's one of my flaws is I've definitely put more into helping at these open houses than I've gotten out of it. As far as tangible reward, I really do, like I said, enjoy helping ensure that the attendees and the volunteers are having the best experience they can, but there should be more I'm benefiting from that, and I feel like that since the department has decided they don't want my help anymore, and there's no reason for me to continue taking on responsibilities that are not my responsibility. So although I like the leadership experience and the department appreciation and even the speaking experience, like going to the open house and speaking at the open houses is awesome. It's helped me become a much better presenter. Also, there's the small benefits of I get a free lunch that day, I guess you'll call it a breakfast. It's just donuts and muffins in the morning. I got this nice dry fit polo, and those little things are cool, but not worth I probably spent about 12 to 20 hours leading up to and including the open house, preparing for that open house. So since I don't feel like I'm getting a value out of the department to continue doing that, I'm going to be stepping down next semester. I really hope that they find a way to make it work. I really do, but at the same time, I genuinely know that unless something radically changes in the next 2 months, they're going to really suffer in the open house, whether they know it or not, because no one shows up to the open house besides the one advisor that's absolutely clueless. If the chair of the department or anyone else of competence ever showed up to the open house, they would recognize how poorly run it is without my assistance. And I'm not trying to say that to gloat. It's just I spent the past 15 open houses really helping out and making sure I knew what was going on and making sure everyone around me knew what was going on and carrying it on my back, that they never gave me anyone to train. I asked my chair multiple times to give me someone that he wanted me to train to take over for me, specifically a faculty member besides our advisor who's in his 80s and ready to retire at any minute. I wanted someone that I could train for the future, and I never got that. So with that, I got kind of, dark at the end, I guess we'll call it. But overall, it's been a very positive experience for me, and I really did enjoy it. So looking back on it, I have no real regrets. It's just unfortunate that I'm kind of leaving with a little bit of that bitter taste in my mouth. So I'll wrap things up here. That's it for today. I'll be back tomorrow with another episode, of course. And thank you all for watching. See you then. Hey guys, it's going to be a quick video just because I'm spending today packing up my stuff to go back to school tomorrow. I just wanted to